Yeah, look, I'm an Apple sheep, so I think AirPods Pro are better. Let's just get that out from the get-go. But AirPods Pro also start at around $250, unless you're looking at Amazon for some deals or something. Galaxy Buds Plus starting at $150. That's a whole $100 between these two pairs of headphones. So in today's video, I'm just going to be weighing the pros, the cons of Galaxy Buds Plus. Then at the end, you can all decide for yourselves if saving that $100 is worth it for you. Let's begin. So Samsung luckily included the Galaxy Buds Plus when I ordered my S20 Ultra at no additional charge, so that was kind of nice, something I wish Apple would do. And my first impressions with them is pretty decent. You know, I'm very happy with the sound quality. I appreciate the use of there being an ambient sound option so that you can still hear things going on around you, but there are very different approaches between these two styles of earbuds. So AirPods Pro obviously have active noise cancellation, which means that it uses its external microphones to hear what's going on around you, match those sounds with ultrasonic frequencies, and cancel out audio so that you can actually get a very, very quiet experience, especially when you're around noises that are very redundant, like being on an airplane or using typical machinery that's making loud noises and that kind of stuff. That's where AirPods Pro has been most useful for me, whereas the Galaxy Buds Plus have passive noise cancellation, which means that all of the blocking out of audio just comes from those rubber seals being in your ear and blocking out all audio. There's no active noise cancellation being done. But what they do kind of overlap with is they both do have that rubber seal, which AirPods Pro, if you want to just turn off ANC or transparency mode, yeah, it kind of blocks out audio, but you can also still kind of hear things because Apple designed AirPods Pro a lot differently from traditional earbuds, which I would consider the Galaxy Buds Plus a bit more traditional, where you have this kind of audio pass-through, which means that it's very, very fluid and very, very natural when you activate transparency mode on AirPods Pro because it almost feels like you're not wearing headphones. It's imitating what's going on around you and playing them in your ear, but it's doing it in such a seamless way, it's almost indistinguishable from how your ears would actually hear your surroundings. Whereas when I tried out ambient sound on the Galaxy Buds Plus, it's not a fluid transition at all. So what it means is that kind of inner voice you hear when you have stuff plugged into your ears, you know how you can kind of hear everything that's rattling around in your brain? You're hearing that, but you're also hearing the sound of what's going on around you, but it definitely sounds more like a recording in real time of what's going on around you. It doesn't feel like you're not wearing headphones. You can still definitely tell they're there. It has a more processed, like, unnatural sound to it, but it still works. You know, if you need to hear what's going on around you, they will get the job done. It's just not as seamless a transition as transparency mode. And what I also like about AirPods Pro more is they have this built-in force sensor that by default, you just press and hold to activate noise cancellation or transparency mode, whereas Galaxy Buds by default don't have some easy way to activate ambient sound. Yes, you can go into the app to switch one of many commands that the Galaxy Buds support so that you can press and hold it and then it will activate ambient sound, but that's a configuration, which is something you have to be very comfortable with when buying most Samsung products in general. So when you open up AirPods Pro next to an iPhone, it gives you that option to connect. You press connect and you're pretty much done from there. Whereas with Galaxy Buds Plus, once you open these things up next to a Samsung phone, you do get that initial animation that pops up, but then once you hit connect, get ready to be bombarded with permission requests because it takes like 10 to 12 options and pop-ups of saying, do you want Galaxy Buds to have access to contacts? Do you want it to have access to phone? Do you want it to have access to photos and media? Which I found confusing. Why does Galaxy Buds Plus need access to photos? I'm sure there's some reason, but my point is the setup experience is much, much faster with AirPods, and I know a lot of you are like, well, you just do it once and then you're done and you don't have to worry about it. But convenience is what made, you know, the truly wireless earbud market kind of take off because wireless headphones were a thing before AirPods, but Apple kind of revolutionized the process of you just open the lid and hit connect. There's no turn on process and then go into settings and try to find the Bluetooth device and hit connect. And that's what has made AirPods really, really popular. It's not their low price point because there's cheaper headphones out there. These are one of them. It's also not the audio quality because there's better sounding earbuds out there. It's the convenience factor. That's what has sold AirPods better than anything. So the fact that when you initially set up Galaxy Buds Plus, there's all of these pop-ups you have to go through, it gets kind of annoying. And these also required a firmware update immediately out of the box. They were like, we got updates available. And I also found it bizarre that the charge case was at 0%. end, where that was not the case with AirPods, but wasn't too hard to charge back up, of course, because thankfully the Buds Plus actually have USB-C. This is something I really wish AirPods have, and they also have wireless charging, which the cheapest AirPods Apple offers with wireless charging start at $200. So yeah, they've definitely got the price point and the charging capabilities over Apple. But another point that goes back to AirPods is a simple and intuitive pair button on the back. This has been available since 2016 when Apple first launched AirPods. If you want to switch ownership of AirPods or enter it into a pairable mode, it's fairly easy to just press that button on the back of the case and boom, you can pair it to some other device fairly simply. The first generation Galaxy Buds did not have this, and neither do the Buds Plus at $150. I have no idea why they feel like they need to leave this out, but it would be so simple if when switching between devices you could just press and hold a pair button instead of having to go into Bluetooth settings, hit disconnect, and try to Bluetooth pair them to some other device. It's a very complicated process that doesn't need to be there, and it's particularly annoying given Buds Plus don't have something like AirPlay, where between all of my registered Apple devices I can switch over to my AirPods pretty simply. I don't really have to go to settings and then Bluetooth and connect again, and I don't even have to press the button each time. I can just drop down to my Now Playing tab with AirPlay and switch to the AirPods whenever I need to. And Samsung's ecosystem isn't as strong. I know it's there, but it's not as simple. So either way, ecosystem or not, having a pair button, that would be super helpful, so please do that next time, Samsung. But back to some of the pros of the Buds Plus, they definitely have some more configurable options. So the fact that you have a whole dedicated app where you can customize things a lot easier. Apple just kind of embeds it within Bluetooth settings, allowing you to have a wide range of what type of ambient sound you want, whether you want it to be loud or quiet, whereas Apple just kind of has transparency mode or not transparency mode. That's about it. They also have way more color options to choose from. They're still in the pre-order process right now, but the fact that you can get them in black is amazing, and there's also a red pair. Really wish I would have got those. Those look amazing. And with AirPods, you know, poop emoji. That's all you got. That's all you can really do. So it would be nice if there were some more color options with AirPods, but hey, thank you Samsung for catering to those who want some customization and style. And the biggest advantage to Buds Plus compared to the last year's Galaxy Buds is absolutely going to be battery life. It's insane to me how small these buds are, and they can get 11 hours outside the case. That's an insanely longer time than Apple's AirPods Pro, which are 5 hours per bud, but that is only part of the story. So the truth is, AirPods Pro still actually have longer battery life with including the case. So Apple's mindset is that most of the time, if you're listening to music or you have those earbuds in your ears, you're not going to be wearing them for much longer than 5 hours at a time. So they're guessing that before you hit that 5 hour mark of listening, you're going to put them back in the charge case, and of course both pairs of earbuds here charge up very quickly, and then just after 10 to 15 minutes you can take them out, put them back in, and you've got hours to go. So Galaxy Buds with the charge case can only charge up each bud a second time, so that takes you from 11 hours of usage up to 22 hours of total usage before the charge case is completely dead, whereas the AirPods Pro can take you to around 24 hours of usage because the battery pack inside the case is much larger. So Samsung moved most of the battery into the buds themselves. Apple moved the majority of the battery into the charge case. So maybe some of you listen to music much longer than 5 hours at a time, in which case Galaxy Buds Plus are probably going to be more convenient. Whereas if you never feel like you're listening to music that long at a time, AirPods Pro technically can give you some more battery life, but they are still dang pretty close. It's only a couple hours difference, whereas the individual buds, 11 hours versus 5. That's like a huge difference. So battery life is definitely a winner with the Galaxy Buds Plus, but you can tell when holding both which one has more battery. These things are very light. In fact, the case feels pretty cheap. Like it feels like a TV remote plastic, whereas this feels slightly more heavy and more high quality. But that could be the bias talking, so don't take my word for it. Now, Galaxy Buds Plus I found a little bit more cumbersome to use in my daily life. I'm still rocking the Galaxy S20 Ultra. It has my SIM card in it right now. And one thing that really annoys me about the Buds Plus is that they instantly connect to the phone as soon as you open the lid, which I find kind of bizarre, because if I'm in the middle of watching a YouTube video and I decide I want to switch to headphones, I want to switch over to the headphones once they enter my ear. I don't want to switch over as soon as the case is open, because then the video I'm watching starts playing on the earbuds and I haven't even got them in my ear yet. So I kind of have to rush or else I'm going to miss parts of the video. I appreciate the fact that AirPods don't actually activate and the audio doesn't switch to them unless they're actually in your ear. That makes way more sense to me. With Galaxy Buds, as soon as you open the lid, it's like, oh, you want to start playing on those now, and they're instantly connected, and also they instantly disconnect and you can't change any of the settings settings on them as soon as the lid is closed. So if you want to alter any settings from the Galaxy Wear app, you have to make sure that this lid is open, even if you don't really plan on using them. Galaxy Buds can also support the Google Assistant or Bixby, which is kind of interesting, whereas of course AirPods Pro are just limited to Siri. So as soon as I put these in my ear and I held the button on the side, Samsung's UI immediately popped up and said, do you want Google Assistant or Bixby? Which is a little teaser for the S20 Ultra review, because that's still an issue I have with Samsung phones. It's just there's two versions of literally everything and it drives me mad, and it's constantly having to ask you, do you want to do the Samsung way or the Google way? But again, it's an option you only have to choose once. So if you like the Google Assistant, obviously much smarter than Siri, you have that with these. Or if you like Bixby, for some reason, some of you are out there, you have that option too. And neither of these have very great options for volume control. You can obviously customize the Galaxy Buds to change volume depending on which ones you tap. But with the AirPods, the best thing you can really do is just have an Apple Watch, which I know is an expensive solution, but it does work really, really well. Or you can ask Siri to change the volume, but again, it's cumbersome, I get it. But when it comes to microphones, I still think AirPods take the lead a little bit here. Probably helps that they have those stems on them, which a lot of people think look real stupid, but the fact that they put the microphones on the ends of those tips makes the phone calls sound a lot more clear than the Galaxy Buds, which had a hard time with audio quality in the last generation. Galaxy Buds Plus didn't really change too much for me. When I tried using the microphones on these things, they were still okay. You know, they get the job done. It's not unusable. It's just AirPods, you know, they sound a bit better. And a tiny detail that should be worth mentioning is the difference in design. I'm very impressed with how small Samsung is able to make the charge case. In fact, it's basically the same amount of volume as AirPods Pro, which is kind of cool. But the fact that it's much easier with AirPods to just open the case with one hand and check to make sure your AirPods are in there and close the case when you're done, that's really easy to do, kind of like a lighter. You can just flip it open with one finger, compared to Galaxy Buds Plus, which when you want to do it with one hand, you kind of can, but it's really awkward and you're probably not going to do that. So anytime you want to open this case, you pretty much have to open it with both hands, which you're probably going to do anyway, but just some people like the satisfying nature of being able to open the case real quickly and check that they're in there, whereas this case is kind of designed in a bizarre way that it makes it sort of hard to open up with one-handed check. Not really a big deal, but those are the primary differences. When it comes to actual audio quality, both are really, really good. I was impressed with the sound quality I got out of Buds Plus. It feels like they're a little bit heavier on the bass, which I'm a fan of, and AirPods Pro I think are a bit more balanced across the board. Comparing the two, they actually do sound pretty close, so that's why it's not a huge portion of this video, but hopefully you can look at what I talked about today and decide for yourself whether or not Galaxy Buds Plus are worth it. If you use an Android, more than likely Galaxy Buds Plus are going to be worth it over AirPods, but feel free to let me know what you guys prefer over on Twitter. Join my Discord. We can chat more about it there. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.